Good evening. We're back with another episode of the Lord of the Rings LCG Progression Series. And tonight is a card review of the Ghost of Framsburg, which is the fourth adventure pack of the Arid Mithrin cycle. So let's take a look. The hero for this is a new version of Dane Ironfoot. I think it's actually pronounced Diane or something like that, but Dane sounds better. Anyway, Diane Ironfoot, 11 threat, 1, 2, 3, 5 health. It's a spirit version. While Diane is defending, he gains action. Discard the top card of your deck to give him +1 shields for this attack. Limit 3 times per phase. Well, that's pretty good. Discarding cards from the top of your deck is not good, but it can be easily compensated for with Will of the West. And he's already a spirit hero, so he has access to that card. You could boost him to 6 shields without much effort at all on your part every round. That's a very strong defensive hero, and he can be buffed by additional attachments. That's a great defensive hero. Let's compare him to the current pick for best defensive hero, the go-to champion, which would be Tactics Baragond. Though you could make a case for Spirit Baragond as well. So for 1 additional threat, Baragond costs 10. For 1 additional threat, you get 1 willpower. You get 1 additional attack, and you get 1 less shields, and you get 1 more health. And in terms of their ability, with Diane you can discard cards to gain 1 shield up to 3 times per phase, and with Baragond you lower the cost to play weapons and armor attachments. So which of these is better? That's tough. I'm not sure either is better than the other. I'm really not sure which one I would play if I needed a strong defensive hero. So that means Diane is an elite hero. I think he's an elite hero in the defensive role. With Unexpected Courage, he could defend for 6 multiple times per phase. And all you really need to do is run Will of the West. Now, you can run into problems with that. If you're discarding 3 cards off the top of your deck every round, you'll very quickly burn through your deck, and if you should discard all of your Will of the West before you have a chance to play it, you could be in trouble. Baragond needs cards to be good too. He needs weapon and armor attachments to be really good. So Diane could be a little bit inconsistent in that regard. If you accidentally discard the cards that mitigate his ability, which will happen sometimes. It'll probably happen more often than you think. But you're not going to be boosting him to 6 shields every round. Sometimes it'll only be 4, sometimes 5. Very good hero though. I think he's very, very strong. I don't think he particularly benefits from Dwarven synergy, but he's just a standalone, very good hero in the defensive role. And another very good option out of the Spirit Sphere to defend alongside Spirit Baragond. There's not much more to say about him. I think you do have to play Will of the West, and sometimes it's going to bite you. Probably more often than I think, so depending on how often that ability bites you, it could be Baragon is better. This will need playtesting, but in my imagination, this hero is very good and a contender for best defensive hero, but it'll need playtesting to confirm, I think. Because it all depends on how often you accidentally discard Will of the West's when you would have needed it to recycle the cards that you discarded to give Diane +1 shields. Now, in terms of whether it's worth getting the adventure pack for him, if you've already got Tactics Baragon, I'd say no. I don't think he's going to be significantly better. He could be worse. But there's some situations where he'd be better. Like if you needed to take a turn 1 attack for 6 from a troll or something, he'd be better. But he's probably the best standalone defensive hero in the game. But over the long course of the game, I don't think you'd notice much difference between him and Tactics Baragon. So I wouldn't buy the adventure pack just for him if you've already got the other champion. He's different, but not. I don't think he'd be significantly better. Interesting hero. I think he's very, very strong, though he needs playtesting to confirm. So, and I wouldn't be surprised to learn in playtesting that his downside, the discarding the cards, is a bigger deal than I think it is. Even with Will of the West, wouldn't be surprised at all. Soldier of Erebor, 5 cost 0333 health. Discard the top 3 cards of your deck to ready Soldier of Erebor, limit once per round. Well, okay, is that the theme of this adventure pack? First of all, this card at 5 cost is very expensive. And very expensive for his stats, 033. He's overcosted by 2. Discard the top 3 cards of your deck to ready Soldier of Erebor. Man, if you were doing this with Diane and discarding 6 cards from the top of your deck every round, you'd be burning through your... If you had any card draw at all, you'd be burning through your deck very quickly. And pretty often, I think you'd be discarding your Will of the Wests and be unable to use them. I don't think you want too many cards that do that. And the Soldier of Erebor, the ability to ready every round, that is worth 2 cost, but it's worth 2 cost with no caveats. With the caveat, what's it worth? I mean, less than 2 probably, which means this card's still overcosted, even with its ability. It's an odd choice to make it 5 cost. Maybe it's too strong at 4, I don't know. But at 5, it doesn't seem very good to me. Now, would it be good in a cost reduction deck, for example, an Elrond Villia deck? Currently, I'm running Giant Bear in my Elrond Villia deck as my battler. 3 attack and 3 shields is pretty strong, but it's worse than 4, and I don't think the action advantage inherent in the card makes up for weaker stats. I'd rather have 4 attack and 3 shields than this ability. There is a surprisingly big difference between 4 and 3 attack. It seems obvious and not obvious to say that. But 4 seems to be a magic number that is rare and highly sought after, at least by me. 3 attack, 3 shields, I don't put a high priority on. So I don't think it's better than Giant Bear. I'd rather have Giant Bear in a cost reduction deck, which is 5 cost, 4 attack, 3 shields, and 4 health, and has the ability to ready once, and then you have to reshuffle it into the deck. But this card would be okay in a cost reduction deck. But again, you have to use Will of the West, I think. So I don't really think this card is very good. I think it's a little underpowered. Not majorly underpowered, but a little underpowered. Man the Walls, 0 cost, play only if no other copies of Man the Walls have been played this round. Reduce the cost of the first ally played by each player this phase by 1. These allies cannot quest this round. It's not good in solo. Reducing the cost of the first ally played would be okay, but the caveat is rough. That's rough. Now, if you could get 4 cost reduction, then I kind of understand the caveat, but in solo play this caveat doesn't make much sense, so I would not play this in solo. There's just no way around that. It's not a good card in solo play. Not at all, especially considering there are other ways to do the cost reduction out of Leadership Sphere, or to gain 1 resource out of Leadership Sphere. So yeah, this is not a good card. I would not play it. Not in any situation that I can imagine in true solo. Mirkwood Hunter, 4 cost, 2/2/2, 3 health. Reduce the cost to play Mirkwood Hunter by 1 for each attachment on the active location. Okay, so this goes in the Haldan Attachments deck. That deck, I've noticed, is inconsistent about the number of attachments that it has on an active location at any one time. Sometimes there's no active location. If there's no active location, this ally is too expensive. If it can get cost reduction of 2, it's great. If it can get cost reduction of 3, it's phenomenal. 3 active attachments, 3 attachments on the active location only happens, I don't know, once per game with that deck, in my estimation. So the window in which this card is phenomenal is limited. At 3 cost, it's okay. I'm not super sad at 3 cost to play it, but you do have to have an active location, have an attachment on the active location, and have 3 resources on your lore hero, and that's not going to happen all the time. Multiple condition card to make it work, and the conditions to make it extremely good are difficult. Nonetheless, I do think I would play this in the Attachments Haldan deck. I don't think that deck is elite right now. I think it's a little bit too inconsistent. When it gets rolling, it's very powerful, but it's a little bit less consistent to get rolling than other decks, like the Outland Swarm deck or the Elrond Villia deck are both, I think, more consistent than the Haldan deck. But it's a fun deck to play, and I think this card could be good in that deck. Now, outside of the attachments on active locations deck, I would not play this. No way around that. It costs too much. Familiar Lands, 1 cost. Each location with the player card attachment gets -2 threat until the end of the phase. Well, I don't think if you just had 1 that it would be very good. 1 cost for and a card for -2 threat isn't that great, so I think you need at least 2 to make this good. And that situation isn't that common. 2 locations in the staging area with player card attachments, even in the deck that's designed to do that, that doesn't happen that much. Because most of the time you're trying to clear stuff out of the staging area the same turn it enters. So I think this card sits in your hand a lot, waiting for its ideal usage, or you end up using it in a situation where it's just kind of meh, and you wish that you used the card slot for something else. So I don't think that's very good. Warrior Sword. Attached to a tactics or a warrior character, restricted, limit 1 per character. 1 cost, attached character gets +1 attack for each enemy engaged with you, limit +3 attack. Well, it's designed, it seems, for the Dunedain deck, which is designed to be engaged with characters, it's always going to be a +1. In true solo, it's not going to be a +2 that often. And it needs to be a +2 to be okay. Decent at least. +3 would be good. But that's going to be rare unless the deck is designed to do that. And in the deck that's designed to do that, that deck is a fun deck. Still, at this point in the game, in my opinion, not a particularly strong one, not an elite one, certainly. So, this card, I think, is mostly a fun card. Though it's never going to be totally awful. But it's mostly a fun card, at least for its ideal usage. It could be worth a look. It's not good that it's restricted, though. That does limit its potential quite a bit. And limit 1 per character. That limits its potential even more. So it seems very narrowly focused on what it's trying to do, which is be a weapon for the Dunedain. Swift and Strong, 1 cost. After a character you control attacks and destroys an enemy, exhaust a weapon attached to that character to ready that character and give it +2 attack for its next attack this phase. Okay, so if, well, I mean, given that this guy is holding a spear, and he appears to be Rohan, the first thing that comes to mind is Eomer. Attacking things in the staging area. In the deck that's designed to do that, like with Fastrit or something like that, this could be good. Could allow you to destroy multiple cards in the staging area per round, but it needs multiple setup cards. In that deck, it needs a character that can attack the staging plus a weapon for that character plus this card. In a deck, you'd have to have access to the tactic sphere, and you'd need a resource available. So not easy to set up this card's ideal usage. You could, of course, not just use it for the staging area. You can use it for any attack where you need strong attack, and it could be useful. Destroying an extra character is a strong use for a card, but it's not easy to set up in its ideal use. Ideal use meaning killing 2 characters in a round with the same character. Needs multiple buff cards to make that happen, I think. At least a weapon. Can't play it without a weapon. So, it's a combo card. It's going to be inconsistent. It's going to be sitting in your hand useless a lot. But good when it works. So far in this expansion, I've liked Adventure Pack. I liked Dian. But the others have been a bit odd in terms of their design. Mirkwood Hunter's okay, though it's going to be inconsistent. If I had to pick a theme for this Adventure Pack, I would pick inconsistent cards. Like Soldier of Erebor, sometimes discarding the card you need to mitigate its cost. The cost of its action. Man the Walls is just not good. Mirkwood Hunter's good but inconsistently. Familiar Lands hard to make work. Warrior Sword hard to make work. It's hard to get set up with 3 enemies engaged with you and not die from it. Swift and Strong hard to make work. Requires a lot of setup. That seems to be the theme of this Adventure Pack. Descendant of Girion. Dale. 4 cost, 2/2/2/2. Reduce the cost to play item attachments on Descendant of Girion by 1. If you can take advantage of that twice, it's a great card. If you can't, it's overcosted for what it does. So, probably good in the Dale deck, but it's a later game card. It's hard to get out early without King of Dale or some other kind of cost reduction. But I think it's a fine card in the Dale deck. I'd play it. I still think that deck is a little weak against difficult quests, though. And it fell by the wayside pretty quickly. I made a lot of attempts with it. I don't think I successfully beat any of the quests of this cycle on camera with the Dale deck. Made a lot of attempts, though. Found it weak. Then once Grimbjorn the Old came out, I liked him a lot more. Valiant Determination, 2 cost, attached to an ally. Attached ally does not exhaust the quest. It's a little expensive. Light of Valinor does that for a Noldor for 1 cost. This is a little expensive. For 2 cost, you can get Unexpected Courage, which readies you up once a round. So you play Unexpected Courage before you play Valiant Determination. Would you ever play both? That's a lot of card slots committed to action advantage. You probably wouldn't have 6 characters out every game that you'd need it on. So I don't think you'd play both. Sometimes I struggle to find a target for 3 Unexpected Courages. It's very similar to Unexpected Courage, except it can go on allies instead of heroes. But I don't really see myself playing both, and I think Unexpected Courage is better. Ring of Thror, 1 cost, it's guarded, attached to a dwarf hero. Exhaust Ring of Thror, and discard the top card of your deck to ready attached hero. If the discarded card is an attachment, put it into play. Well, it's very good, but I'll say the same thing that I've said about every guarded player card so far. You almost never want to bring in another enemy or location early in the game, so it's a card for when your board is stabilized, and by the time your board is stabilized, you don't really need it anymore. You're gonna get tired of hearing me say that by the end, I suspect. But that's my feeling on guarded cards in True Solo, is that early in the game you almost never want to bring in another enemy or location. Now these attachments are these guarded player cards are very strong when you get them set up, and therefore they're going to be very fun to play in thematic decks. They're just not going to be very good in elite decks. That's my feeling on them. Maybe one comes out that changes that, or somehow you can mitigate the guarded effect. But for now, I don't see myself playing any of the guarded player cards. So overall, this adventure pack is a bit of a mess, really. I wouldn't recommend it if you've already got Tactics Paragon. Or Spirit Paragon, really. If you don't, yeah, Dian is a very good defensive hero. If you're in the market for one of those, he can fill that role if you're willing to run Will of the West with him. I may kick him around a bit, give him a look, see what there is to see, play test him a bit. But if you've already got Baragon, either version, you can probably skip this one. Unless you're in the market for one of these fun thematic cards, maybe the Dale card, or the Dunedain card, or maybe the attachments on locations deck, something like that. There's something in this adventure pack for each of those decks. But nothing really elite, except possibly for Dian. I'm not sure about him yet. He'll need playtesting. It's possible he'll be a big disappointment. So thanks for watching.